So I'm Ja and
I'm Ilka.
And today we're talking about breastfeeding as a co-parent.
Yes.
So, quick background. I guess we can introduce our kids, right?
Okay.
So instead of I'm Ja, who am I? I'm Ja's mom.
I'm Ben's mom.
Do you remember the first time you got introduced as that?
Yeah.
Like,
my friend Keisha, she's been calling me that for the longest. Ben's mom.
I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm just somebody else's mom. Now I don't have my own name anymore.
Nope.
Damn.
Ja's mom.
Right. So we both breastfed our sons, and one of the things that we have in common is that we breastfed and had co-parent relationships.
Yep. Breastfed as single moms. For me, I breastfed for 6 months, so I didn't breastfeed as long as other moms, but
6 months is good though.
Yeah.
People don't realize like how long it takes to get to them, just to get to the 6 months with obstacles.
I wanted to give up so many times, but it is an obstacle to get there, but once you got it down packed, you know, it becomes a routine, you get used to it. But yeah, and maybe 3 months of those 6 months I was co-parenting, so you know, it was just making sure that, you know, you had milk for your baby. You had their food, so yeah.
My thing was, so with me and Ja, me and his dad lived in separate states. That was so difficult because you still have to make sure, even when you're not in a relationship with that person, that they still have the same amount of time as you do, or still have the relationship that they desire to have with their child, but you still have to feed them. You're their only source of food. So it's always funny to me when people are like, you know, they still haven't figured out how to, I guess, have a relationship with this person, because they still have to. And so during the time of nursing, it develops like that relationship. So just like you're developing the child, you're developing the relationship that you now have with the other parent. That's very different because it's not a relationship romantically, but it's still a relationship where y'all have to learn like how to agree.
Yeah, you have to learn to raise a child together.
Yeah, for real.
That's what it
really
boils
for real.
down to.
You still have to do it, and so then when you're nursing at the same time, it's beneficial, I think, because it makes that interaction have to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you can't stop talking to each other while the baby's eating.
Yeah. Yeah. And my whole thing was making sure I had to learn to pump, because I was already planning to, with my job being away from my son, so I was already trying to put a plan in order to nurse when I'm not around my son. So I started pumping maybe at 2 months.
Oh, that's good.
To start. I was scared, girl, because they was telling me, like, don't start pumping too soon because you can, you know, lose your milk supply, can mess up your milk supply and stuff like that. So
it can.
Really making sure you have that connected.
But
so real.
But when they say too soon, hold on, let's spray. We're not about to get it up. Try not to breathe in the poison.
Take some water.
Woo, if it can kill bugs, you breathing it. Damn. So I think 2 months is a great time to start pumping.
Yeah.
Just because you do want to get your breast used to it as well. If you know that at some point you're going to incorporate it, and at some point, most moms, if you're co-parenting, going back to work, anything, you're going to have to pump at some time. There's no way it's not going to happen. When they say don't start too soon, it's because some women are starting while they're still in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pumping in the hospital.
Yeah.
And it's not because the thing is, and I don't want to come down on nobody, but if you don't want your breasts to produce milk, and you don't want them to stretch and get engorged, and you don't want to have breastfeeding going on, because if your body's producing milk, your baby smells the milk and they're going to demand that. So when you try to give them something else, it's a transition for them because they have to get used to that something else. So a lot of moms, if they know they're not going to breastfeed, they never introduce the breast and they request a pump immediately. A lot of hospitals are trying to deter that step right now because they understand the benefits of women nursing. Well, yeah, of women nursing. How do you feel about, I had to check myself one day because I thought that I was like advocating for breastfeeding, and I do. But then I saw a woman and she had a newborn baby, and this woman was messed up. Like, she was definitely like on something, right? And she had this newborn baby, and I watched her. She was pushing the baby in a stroller into Publix. And then she comes out and she's getting formula and the Gerber water, because you know you can't use the sink water.
Right.
And it made me think to myself, like, there are women that don't necessarily need to breastfeed because they can give things to the baby that don't need to be there.
Right. And so what was the question behind that? Sorry.
Oh, do you think that there's, I'm sorry, I'm getting fucking thrown off. Do you think that there's like something we should do to help women that are either on substances, nurse? Do you think we should use like donor milk?
Yeah.
What do you think
I looked into that actually because I was so heartbroken making the decision to stop breastfeeding, and I was like so heartbroken because you really create that bond, and I was just like, you know, that's the best thing for your baby. So just to
how did you do?
I chose to do a soy formula, even though, you know, now they say soy is not good for, you know, males. But
how did he react to it?
I did soy formula for 6 months, and then after soy, we went straight to almond milk.
Oh,
so,
wow.
You know, like, I just try to keep it as healthy and as natural as possible with that. But, like, just, I feel like I looked into donor milk, but that was new. You know, breastfeeding in my generation was not kind of like I'm the first to do this. Like,
really?
you know, I don't think anybody in my family really breastfed, so it was new for me, and I'm still learning. So when I was learning about donor milk,
I had a cousin, but that was it.
Yeah.
Our mom's generations, they didn't breastfeed at all.
Straight on Similac.
I'm not a breastfed baby either. So they tricked my mom and she stopped.
Luckily, my mom did not have an epidural with me.
Damn, congratulations.
Right.
All right, go, Mama Donna.
Right. But
she said I got this.
Learning about donor milk was new for me, so I don't know, like for me, I think I was kind of trying to find out the convenience, and also, you know, long story short, I didn't go with the donor milk. So, but learning more about it after, you know, my son had stopped breastfeeding, and learning about
be a
people.
Donor.
Yeah. And it's a group of moms that I know who give their supply, like they'll be trying to give away their supply, but you always want to go to a donor center to where, you know, the milk is tested and everything like that for me. So. But I think that is a good idea for moms who can't breastfeed or, you know, want alternatives.
I had wanted to be a donor because my cousin, her baby was born premature, and so she wasn't producing enough milk yet.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, I really want to donate my milk to you. My cousin didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah.
It did hurt my feelings though, because I wanted to be a donor to my cousin.
Yeah.
She ended up getting ear infections, and I felt bad because I could have put my milk in her ear and it would have healed her.
Yeah.
But I understand why people don't do it. It is new. I'm not gonna front though. I really did want to be a donor.
Yeah, like
I was like, dang.
That's a blessing for people who, because if I were to have another kid, well, when I do have another kid, and I'm gonna choose to breastfeed as long as I can, like I'm gonna put in that work to breastfeed while on the go. So, but you know, if I couldn't, I would go to a donor. You know what I'm saying? If I couldn't breastfeed, I would go to a donor, because at the end of the day, it's still breast milk.
Yeah.
Regardless of what team
and
it came from.
And it's better than that.
Right. Liquid
nothing
gold.
is better than that.
So yeah.
So we were talking about any tips that you have for co-parenting while breastfeeding.
When you with your partner, I feel like you have to stress the importance of breast milk to them, because you know, guys, sadly, I love you guys, I don't mean to bash you guys, but you know, when it comes to that, some of them are more stuck on convenience. They're stuck on, you know, oh, milk formula, let's go get it, you know. So I think stressing the importance to your partner and helping them realize this is what it is very key. That's first and foremost.
I just like the cost savings. Like,
oh, what?
Nigga, you ain't even paying for formula, nigga.
Right, it's free.
I used to throw that out there all the time. Like, okay, I don't want y'all to get it twisted. My co-parenting relationship is not perfect. We done figured out how to make the shit work. But I've had to say to my baby daddy before, like, hold up, you don't pay for formula. I'm doing a job for you.
Like,
yeah. He wasn't paying for well, I cloth diapered.
Yeah,
so
that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, once I got the whole thing, all I had to pay for was laundry detergent. But I'm like, I'm saving you a whole bill.
But I think, for Ben's dad, he understood that. Like he understood that. So it was just me, you know, pumping, having to pump. That was a job. And so, but still, making sure you doing it on time. You're not, when you aren't with the baby. Like, I breastfed and I was pumping at the same time until I really was able to, like, transition and get him used to a bottle.
Right.
So that was a little bit of work, but that's what I had to do.
Damn, I hated that get used to a bottle thing. Y'all used to try to starve yourself.
Oh.
Like, you know how they out, and I had to remember what my midwife said, like, a baby will not starve itself. Eventually, they'll try to get the food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. She's like, it's gonna hurt you more than it hurts him. Like, he's gonna survive. And I'm like, damn, no, like, he's really just gonna not eat until I come.
Yeah, he gonna eat. Ben, after a while though, he was fussy about it. He was just like, like he tried to fight it, but when they get hungry enough, they gonna eat. They get hungry, they gonna eat. So yeah.
That is a fact. So, any more tips that you have? I'm trying to think what's another good tip that...
Stockpiling, for me, like, I'm just on the whole pumping and storing your milk, you know. It's good to have a deep freezer, you know, because you can store milk for a longer period of time. But once you take it out that freezer, you can store it in the freezer for a few weeks. It's a whole timetable on how to store your milk. Refrigerator, freezer, deep freezer, you know. But you just want to make sure you got a stockpile if you're gonna breastfeed. If you guys are not in the same.
So you saying put deep freezer on your baby registry?
Yes. A little deep freezer.
Deep freezer.
Store up some milk, like pumps that keep on a schedule to where you're still pumping and producing, even if you're not around your baby, so that your body is still creating that milk for them. And just making sure dad has a pile, dad knows what to do with it. And
make sure you know, don't put that shit in the microwave.
Right. Boil it. Stove. Like you really, cause it's like it's a routine. You just gotta get them accustomed to. You gotta train them.
And then dads have to be on the timetable. That's why it can't be like, I don't understand how people can be like they don't communicate with the other parent. When you have a child, how?
Especially a new one, like. You have to.
Don't neither one of y'all really know what the fuck y'all doing. You calling the other one?
Like, yo. Yeah. I mean, it's good to still, I know a lot of co-parenting comes with drama. It doesn't have to. Like,
it shouldn't. There's no reason.
It really doesn't have to, especially when the focus is on the child. So, you know, if y'all keep the focus on the baby and whatever extra, you know, if y'all not together, keep that extraness away from each other. Like, stop trying to sleep with each other. You know?
Yeah,
stop.
that's the secret. Only had a baby on your titties.
But yeah, but keeping a healthy relationship between the parents is key, you know, with breastfeeding. Because it's a goal, like it's a marathon. Breastfeeding is definitely a marathon. So, you know, you both have to be in that race together for the baby's sake.
Let's see, anything else we can talk about with breastfeeding as a co-parent? You talked about packaging the milk.
So for you, because I was more on to pumping, but for you, was it like being with the dad and having to nurse like the baby, like while you're like you would just go with him, like be with him?
Yeah. So originally what we did was he just was at my house.
Okay.
When we first had job, like his first week and a half, he just was at my house.
Okay.
So, and that was because we literally just had him. We was eating like every 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like, ain't nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
So then it got to where, I had to go down there, and I had to it was like Ja had to stay with me, but he would get him for like a certain period of time. So he might get him for like 2 or 3 hours, but then I have to get him again.
Yeah.
Like staggered time.
Yeah.
And after that, then Ja was drinking from a bottle. I put Ja on his first bottle at like 3 months. So I tried a bottle with him at 3 months, and I pumped. I hated pumping.
It's something to get used to.
I hated pumping. I do not like that routine.
Yeah. It's so much, the pieces, the whole.
You gotta clean that shit
yes.
out. Like, that's how I don't understand the formula. That's the formula part. I don't want to do all that. Like, that's too much. The pumping, that's too much. Like, I was like, I just want to let this baby nurse. I don't gotta go nowhere away from the baby.
No extra.
We good, cause it's extra work.
Right.
Like,
just please it out.
That's why I tell people the best way you can help a mom, do all the other shit. Just let me be a mom. Just let me be a mom. Let me feed the babies. Let me rest. Let me the fuck alone. And do all the other shit.
But yeah.
So, yeah, I feel like by nursing him most of the time, when we first had to figure out how to parent together, it was awkward kind of, because for me, I hadn't seen Ja's dad in like 6 months. In a 6-month time period, I hadn't seen him. Got pregnant, I left, and then it was time for Ja to be born. That was the next time I seen him. So to have to be around somebody that you no longer have a connection to, but you have a connection to them because their DNA is all in you, and then have to be like, okay, cool, to make sure we feed this baby, we gotta interact. It was like, all right, definitely a time that you're like grateful that you're surrounded with love, because all you can think about is this baby.
Yeah.
That's a part of why I like breastfeeding too, because it was like
the connection. That's why I've been so spoiled now. That's why he stuck to me like glue, because he was a titty baby.
Yeah.
But the connection was like, it's unbreakable. Like, it's a bond that you set for life. That's my dog. That he know his mom is his backbone.
Yeah, that's true. That is a great feeling.
Yeah.
like, boom. Can't nobody say I did that. I gave you life, literally.
Right. And then not even that, just I know we're talking about co-parenting and breastfeeding, but the health benefits behind breastfeeding, period. Like, if you trying to get back at your whoever and snap back, breastfeed. Because that snap back will be real.
People don't tell y'all that. They be like, you want to keep your titties firm? Okay, bitch, have firm titties and be fat as fuck from there. No, let me just.
Because honestly though, like, I breastfed and my titties still look good.
Yeah, I'm not having any problems with my titties. Maybe I will say this, I'm scared about how that is at the third pregnancy.
Yeah.
I've seen third pregnancy.
And we're still young too. So
yeah. I wish I had more kids young. That's something that I'm like, if I knew what I know now, and I'm not trying to make y'all think any type of way about your decisions, but if I knew what I know now, I would have got my shit together and started having kids. Like, I wasted a lot of time doing some other shit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I seen a lady the other day, they said she had 20 kids. Can you imagine nursing 20 kids?
Ooh, child.
20. Okay.
I mean, but you know what? It's true. Our grandmothers and our great grandmothers and they nursed all their slave master kids. So ain't no telling how many kids they had to nurse.
Way more than 20. I read an article today that said at the plantation houses, farms, like where they just created kids, because remember that's why they decided they would end the Atlantic slave trade, is because they decided they would let all the white plantation owners have farms of just all their slaves, creating more slaves. They said for a woman to get free, she had
my bad.
They said for a woman to get free from the birthing farm, she had to birth 15 children. 15. And remember, it's a slave farm, so every time you have a baby, you know they're going to come take it and they're going to sell it.
Yeah.
Every time. And then not to know what they're going to do, because just because somebody bought your child doesn't mean that they bought your child so that they could make them a slave. They could have bought your child to be raping them every day. They could have bought your child to be the one that had to fight as a Mandingo every day. They could have bought your child to be one of the babies that they fed to the alligators. Like, you never know what they were buying your child for. White people used to buy black children just to torture them in slavery. Like, anyway, I'm sorry. They said she had to have 15 children in order to be released from the farm of being raped every day in order to have 15 kids.
Yeah, that's deep.
Oh, but they said those were the first black people to have health care. That's the first time white people ever gave a fuck if their slaves were well taken care of, is if they raped you. 15 children.
Sick shit. Sick world we live in.
Like, damn. And then having to breastfeed all of them to go through pregnancy 15. I don't know if I want to do 15 times. I don't know. I seen 20 and I'm
solid 5, 6 I can do.
Yeah, I could do 5, 6. But 15 to 20?
I'll do 7 for completion.
I'm just saying. Then you literally have a god body.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's our tips for breastfeeding, things to consider and think about. As always, if you have